going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it is a loaded one, as apparently the Bulls have set their asking price for center Nikola Vucevic. And then also, Joe Cowley hinted that a Lonzo Ball trade may be coming before the NBA trade deadline. But before we dive into that, guys, if you guys want our Chicago Bulls to make a trade and finally get out of this purgatory zone that they have been set in for the last couple of years, just hit that thumbs up icon, send a message to the front office with this one. If you guys want the Bulls to make a trade, hit that thumbs up button. All right, so the new report coming out from Marc Stein and Jake Fischer is that the Bulls are seeking a first-round draft pick for Nikola Vucevic. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Will the Bulls actually get a first-round pick? We'll have to wait and see, but let's just kick it to what Jake Fischer had to say about Nikola Vucevic being dealt. He said, after failing to extract any draft compensation from the Oklahoma City Thunder in its Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey swap in June, Chicago is said to be seeking a first-round pick to part with center Nikola Vucevic, who has had a tremendous season offensively. The two-time All-Star is averaging 21 points, 9.8 rebounds per game while shooting a sizzling, I love that word, Fisher, 58.7% from the field and 47.4% on three-pointers. And yeah, there's no doubt Vooch has had, in my opinion, the best offensive season in his NBA career. Now, we obviously know Vooch defensively, he is still one of the biggest liabilities by far in the NBA. But offensively, you know, he can space the floor. He's got a really good push shot. He's been hitting the three ball at an incredible level at 47.5%. Like, if Vooch wants to be an effective player, he has to add that part of the game. Now, I will say this in terms of the Bulls front office. If you're able to get a first-round pick for Vooch, I will actually give the Bulls front office credit here because, you know, I think it's pretty clear what the Bulls have been doing this season is they have been, you know, upping their pace of play. They've been kind of having these inflated numbers with Levine and Vooch this year. And if, you know, these inflated numbers are able to get you a first-round pick for Nikola Vucevic, that's a hell of a steal for the Chicago Bulls front office because you weren't able to get any draft capital for the Josh Giddey, Alex Caruso trade, which also looking back on that, I don't know if I love that too much. I was a fan of the trade just because I was a believer in Giddey, but still, we haven't seen Giddey take any steps at all whatsoever in terms of his catch-and-shoot three-point ability and defensively. He's still the same guy he was, you know, from the past years in Oklahoma City. But where could Vooch go? I got three teams for you guys. And Joe Cowley actually listed, or it was Casey Johnson who listed the Warriors and the Lakers as possible trade targets. But starting off with the Warriors here, maybe they could get aggressive. You know, with Steph Curry still playing at a top 10 player in the world level of basketball, maybe they just want more talent around him. They just traded for Dennis Schroeder this past weekend, so maybe Vooch could be that piece in that front court, which would allow still to have some five-out floor spacing. You can have Draymond run that four, you know, Wiggins or Kuminga, you know, running that 2 or 3 spot, and obviously have Steph Curry at the 1. I don't hate that for Golden State, but also Memphis, they've had a good start to the year. They're the number 1 offense in the NBA so far, and with them not really having a solid center right now in the lineup, they're hoping Zach Edey would be a little better than he has so far in a short NBA career. And then also the Lakers. Rob Pelinka will make a move for a center at the deadline. Will it be Valanciunas? Will it be Vooch? Will it be another center? We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I really do think Vooch, he will be dealt. I'm pretty confident in that, and if the Bulls could get a first-round pick, even if it's top 5 protected, whatever protections they have, I still think it would be a great move for the Chicago Bulls. So these are my top 3 teams. You could also maybe think about a New York Knicks, even though I think that's unlikely. But if I had to pick out of these 3, I'm probably going Vooch to the Los Angeles Lakers. But you guys make the call for me. Will the Bulls be able to trade Nikola Vucevic before the NBA trade deadline? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comments section. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if YouTube throws an ad break your way right now, sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment. Now we'll talk about the Lonzo Ball trade rumors here in a second, but first I got to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now if you guys download the app today and use code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Now, producer Tex cooked up a heater of a lineup for today's game between the Bulls and the Raptors, and he's riding with the hot hand, Ayo Dosunmu. He's going to take his more on 13.5 points. I love that one. And also a sneaky play right here from Texer. Going more on Kobe White for assists. I actually love that. And then we're also going to fade Grady Dick on this one. We're going to take the less on his 19.5 points. But if you guys want to ride with Texas picks or fade Texas picks, just do so at Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50. That's $50 instantly after you create your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so the new report that broke earlier this morning was the Bulls are not just shopping Lonzo Ball, they are aggressively shopping Lonzo Ball, according to Joe Cowley, one of the best tapped-in beat reporters around the Chicago Bulls. And I will give credit to guys like Joe Cowley and Casey Johnson with the kind of just the disaster of the Bulls organization as it is. We are really blessed with two of the best beat reporters in the game, and this is what Joe Cowley had to say about Lonzo being traded. He says a source indicated that the Bulls' goal is to continue aggressively shopping Ball, Nikola Vucevic, and Zach LaVine, as well as any other name that makes sense. We'll talk about Kobe White on a later video, but I thought that was interesting. But he said that was their focus going into the season, and it remains their focus. Even with some solid moments of basketball have been played, the underlying reason is that the Bulls will keep their first-round pick in a loaded 2025 draft if they can land in the bottom 10 of the lottery. Otherwise, it goes to the Spurs. Karnisovas' crew entered Sunday in the 10th in the draft order. So Lonzo on the court this year. Now, obviously, it's been a very limited action. He is on a minute restriction, hence why he's only playing 17 minutes a game. And, he has struggled from the field, only shooting 37.2%, 34.5% from downtown. But he is actually averaging a steal and a half a block a game, so he still has that defensive capability. And he's averaging 5.4 points, 2.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists. But my take on Lonzo Ball being traded, listen, it would stink to trade him. He's a guy I'm always going to root for, but I'm also not sure how much trade value, if any trade value, the Bulls can get for a guy like Lonzo Ball. But in the end, I just hope Lonzo goes to a contender, whether that's like the Lakers, the Heat, the Warriors, any of these teams. Like, I just hope Lonzo ends up playing some, big-time basketball in, the summer of the NBA playoffs. But, no matter what, the Bulls need to trade Lonzo, Vooch, LaVine, whoever it may be, just to land their first-round pick of next season. Because if it's not in the top 10, just like Joe Cowley was saying, it will go to the San Antonio Spurs, and that will be a disaster. Because could you imagine? The Bulls, they end up with the 11th pick in the NBA draft in a loaded draft class with, Ron Harper's kid. I don't know if you guys have seen what he's been doing at Rutgers. Dylan Harper, he looks like the second or if not the best player in this class, even ahead of Cooper Flagg. But you got guys like Ace Bailey, Nolan Traore, this point guard from France, and obviously Cooper Flagg. Just having that lottery ticket to potentially land one of those guys would be huge for the Chicago Bulls' future. But I got three teams that could trade for Lonzo Ball. I'm going to start with the Miami Heat here. Now, there also are a lot of reports that are indicating the Heat might move off Jimmy Butler, so I don't know really what direction they're heading. But, hey, a guard off the bench for Miami, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, I put the Warriors in here as well. I think with that up-and-down flow and pace of offense that the Warriors have, I think Lonzo makes a lot of sense. And also having another playmaker off the bench, you would have another good defensive guard that you can put next to Steph Curry. Honestly, I love the idea of Lonzo and Steph being that 1 and 2 in the backcourt with Lonzo running the 1 and Steph running the 2. And then the Lakers right now are actually the favorites to land Lonzo Ball. LeBronzo, that would be sweet to have back in LA. I would love it. And plus, just have another backup guard. I was talking with a couple Lakers fans in the office. They were saying maybe a D'Lo trade. Then the Bulls would obviously just waive D'Lo. But, just to maybe get a second round pick for Lonzo, I think that would be a win in my eyes. But, those are my final thoughts on Nikola Vucevic. And if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just give me a C red down below in the comment section. Tough time to be a Bulls fan, but hey, I think better days are coming for our favorite basketball team. So give me a C red down below. If you guys want to give me a follow on Twitter, that's a handle at Pat Siepes. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.